Breakfast with Bob.
And Pancho Man. How about a round of applause for our man, Pancho Man. Bringing it. We are brought to you by Yes, Myoplex, Hoka One One Polar, Velo Fix, Normatec, Four Seasons Hualalai. We'll be having our championship edition on Sunday. A Mio Power Breather. Our next guest, the 2016 Ironman 70.3 World Champion, Mr. Tim Reed. How you doing, buddy?
Going well, Bob. How are you?
I am spectacular. We're in Kona. What could be better than that?
It's a good spot.
It is a good spot. So from Australia, the hard part is you can really race all year long, right? So the great part about that is you can make money all year long. The hard part is focusing on something like this in October when you start racing in when? January?
Yeah, that's right. It's a big challenge. I mean, I did Australian Championships in early January this year. So instead of having your traditional off-season, you're really forced to throw in weeks of rest when you can fit it in between races, and it's a bit of a balancing act, especially with young kids and training hard, and the fatigue creeps up on you, and sometimes the best thing you can do is just sit a few weeks out and refresh.
So last year you win 70.3 Worlds. Great race, Sebastian Kienle. I mean, it was a phenomenal day in Australia on the Gold Coast. How special was that for you?
I mean, it was obviously the highlight of my career. A dream day. I had my whole family there, my kids, racing against an idol, Sebastian Kienle, and the legs were on. It's just one of those days where I felt like I could just go up a gear when I needed to. They don't happen that often those days. It's probably 2 or 3 times a year you feel amazing, and thankfully it fell on a day that was really important to me. So yeah, it was a very special day.
And then that's in September, and then you're coming here in October, and it's like, okay, let's gear up again. Two basically world-class performances back to back. That's really hard.
I think some guys can do it, especially I think the Europeans, the Germans seem to do really well. I mean, they often start their racing season in March or April.
A little later.
And it seems to work quite well for them. They can hold form from September right through to October. I've always struggled. I can find a time when I need to peak, and trying to hold it for more than 6 weeks. And I actually was in really good form from July through to September. So I had, a good string of results there, a couple of wins, and then I was just sort of pushing a wheelbarrow uphill, It was getting pretty hard after that, and you need to have a break, but you've got Kona on the horizon. Right. So unfortunately, it was I got halfway through the bike and I just couldn't push any power.
And so you're coming off the highest high,
yeah,
and then you're basically ending the season with a DNF, which is always hard for you.
Yeah, I mean, professional sport is such a roller coaster, and I was slapped with that pretty hard last year, to go from I'm on top of the world to I can't stay with anyone in the race.
Yeah.
It was pretty heartbreaking.
and then the hard part is it's not like there's another race the next week where you can get that high back.
Yeah, that's right. I did. I had a break after that, and I got out and won one more 70.3. And all I really did was take some time off and got some freshness back. And it sort of showed me, okay, you're better to be undertrained and fresh than going to this race a little bit overcooked, because you pay the price when you're racing the best guys.
So this year you go to Chattanooga to defend your title, and you get sick. That's got to be really frustrating. Yeah,
it was frustrating. To be honest, Bob, I think with my focus on Kona, like I said, I can't hold a peak performance from there right through to Kona. So I was honestly hoping for maybe like a 4th through to 10th place with the training that I'd done.
So the focus was this.
The focus was this, and for me it's a very different style of training. And then on the way over, I came down with influenza A and spent the week in bed, just sweating it out and shivering with a fever. And so I really wanted to just get through the race, because I was annoyed I'd missed so much training for Kona. And it was a beautiful course, great race, and even though I was a bit disappointed, with the result, it was still a great hit out. So.
And then the build up from there, you went to Boulder, and the build up from 70.3 Worlds to here, what have you been doing?
Yeah, so I was supposed to go back to Australia after Chattanooga, and my boys were still sick. They got influenza as well, and my wife was like, we sort of really need a good result. And I was like, yeah, I know, what should I, so we decided I should go back to Boulder. Right. The difference in recovery, I can sleep 8-9 hours and rest between sessions, whereas when I'm at home, working wife, kids,
You're a dad.
it's busy times. So, and the focus was recovery. It wasn't training. I went there and I just did really light stuff and slept a lot, and my performance started getting better.
Yeah.
So I got some good sessions in the last few weeks and feeling good to go.
And you were mentioning sauna sessions. What the heck were you doing?
Oh, everyone's doing it now to get acclimatized to the heat here, especially if you're in Boulder and it's getting pretty chilly. Often you jump in a sauna every second day to really sweat it out and get the body used to operating in a dehydrated state.
So you did this race as an age grouper, and then 2014, 21st.
Yep.
That was your first time as a pro here.
Yep.
How special is this event?
Yeah, I think 2009 was my last amateur race.
Right.
And hugely special to me because, I was doing what most of the amateurs do, fitting training in around a pretty busy work schedule, and I just loved it. I thought, this is unreal, and this is what I want to do. So after that race, I decided I'm going to have a crack at turning pro. And
did you talk to anybody, any of the other pros about that?
Well, I'd raced in Australia the half Ironman series. You could race in the open category, and I'd had a couple of close races with Pete Jacobs, even as an age grouper, and a few other guys. So I thought I'm good enough to probably give it a go for a few years. And then 2014 was just I qualified. It wasn't the main focus of the season, but I thought I need to get here and learn how this pro race goes, and it was a bit of an eye-opener.
Was it scary to go from having an occupation to saying, I don't know if you were married with kids at that point,
yeah,
but it's like, hey, you know what? I think I'm going to go swim, bike, and run for a living. That's a little scary.
You're right. I think it would have been a very hard decision to do if I did have kids at that point. I don't think I would have done it, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I was... I had met my wife, but she was my girlfriend at the time. I had no real responsibilities, and there was nothing to lose. I thought it's a 1-year sabbatical from work, and 7 years in, I'm still
You're
going.
still loving it.
Still on a sabbatical.
What would it mean to you to win this race?
Bob, it would be... it would pretty much top off my career. I'd probably retire the next day. It's the pinnacle for a lot of triathletes. It's either the Olympics or Hawaii.
Right.
And for me, it's been Hawaii. And, I'm realistic. If, a win could take a few years,
right,
or it might never happen. But it's something that really drives me and keeps me motivated.
One of the guys who we had a lot of fun interviewing a couple years ago, longtime friend of yours, Cameron Worth, right? Yeah. Now, give me the background. You guys grew up together?
So, yeah, we both grew up on a small island east of Australia, Lord Howe Island. It's got 300 people. You don't wear shoes to school. It's pretty. There's still no mobile cell phone reception there. It's a pretty different place. But you ride your bikes everywhere. You run everywhere. And so that was our background. And Cam and I raced each other in one of the local kids triathlons back in when we were like 10 or 11, and it was like a ding-dong battle the whole way.
So you two guys were battling it?
Yeah, even back then, and we were both super competitive, and he's gone on and done a whole different array of sports.
Rower, Olympic rower, right?
Yeah, Olympic rower, pro cyclist, and then he won an Ironman a few weeks ago.
Yes!
So he's one of those guys that has always said, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and everyone's just like, man, what is with this guy? He's delusional, and then he goes and does it. So it's been very interesting just to watch him say what he's going to do, and then he always seems to find a way to achieve it.
Does he talk to you at all about this stuff?
Oh, he was calling me every day the last few weeks, and he's...
When he says, I'm going to go do an Ironman, 3 weeks or 3 weeks before this?
And it's probably his 4th or 5th for the year.
Yeah.
But he doesn't seem to have any energy limits,
No.
He just can... Yeah, he's a phenomenal guy, just limitless energy, and I'm just sitting back and just watching a very interesting career.
What's funny about that is 2 world-class athletes. How big is this island?
Yeah, so in my year at school, there was 3 other kids my age. So
and Cam was one of them.
And Ollie Whistler, who was a pro, was another guy. So there was a guy over there who actually was very big into triathlon, and he sort of sparked the idea for all of us, I think, because he did Hawaii.
Yeah.
And so we were just heard about Hawaii when we were young kids, and that's all you need, someone to motivate you like that and plant the idea, and here I am.
Did you have triathlon heroes growing up?
Yeah, so then when I finished school and thought, I'm pretty sick of rugby, I'm sick of getting beaten up on the basketball court.
You're not the biggest rugby guy or basketball guy.
That's true. I started watching the Grand Prix series in Australia.
National
the
Triathlon
F1.
Grand Prix, yes.
Yeah, and Brad Bevan, Greg Welsh, Macca, you know, all these guys just running around in budgie smugglers, and it was fast, it was exciting. And it was just, I was like, this is so cool. This is, you know, I've got to get into triathlon.
I could wear a Speedo.
You thankfully weren't racing, Bob.
I meant you. You could wear a Speedo, because you have.
Oh, yeah.
You wear a Speedo. You wear it well.
Yeah,
I don't.
thank you.
I don't wear it very well. No, you're correct. And the Speedo and the mustache, that was the best look.
Yeah, it went pretty well. Unfortunately, everyone's got so high tech with their, you know, aerodynamic apparel that I've sort of been forced to catch up and wear the sleeve suit on the bike, but I'll still be wearing the budgie smugglers on the run.
Will you?
Yeah. I need the extra cooling.
Street cred.
Street cred, yep. A salute to the old school guys.
To Welchie and all the boys.
That's right, yeah.
I like that a lot. So when you look back, besides 70.3 Worlds, which was obviously an epic and home, you know, on your home country and family there, do you look at another race as that was one of the most important races of my career? It sort of told you something about yourself.
Yeah, I guess there's been little monumental moments like that throughout my whole career, and that's something that I still look back on even today, and I still think, wow, like I'm still pinching myself that it happened. You know,
Sure.
I started the sport thinking, like I said, especially when I turned pro, this is a 1 year thing. You know, if I can get a year of not having to work, that would be awesome.
Somebody paying my way to bring me places.
Yeah,
what could be better than that?
Exactly. And so then to even eventually win a couple of races and win a regional championship and then to win a world title, I could, you know, I've still got a lot of aspirations in the sport, but if I got injured tomorrow and couldn't race, I could still walk away and going, mind blown, I achieved way more than I expected.
Way more in a year.
Yeah.
You're like 7 times.
Yeah.
I love that. So when I look at some of the events, sometimes an event I don't know much about. What is that? What is the Hell of the West? Hell
of the West is an iconic race in Australia. I think it's 28 years old, and it's just in northern Queensland, southwestern Queensland, brutally hot, and it's had some great Aussie names there over the years, and thankfully they've awarded it the Australian Championship the last couple of years, and that's why I kicked off my year in January. I was supposed to wait until March and have a proper off season, but I got excited.
Hell of the West Championship, yeah,
and you know, I think racing those really hot races is also a good experience for events like Hawaii.
So do you go into this race going, okay, top 5 is okay, top 10, or do you go in just going, I'm just going to see where it goes? Yeah,
I don't really have a place in mind. I just want to go out there and feel like I maximised everything I had on the day.
Yeah.
Certainly no giving up like last year, like getting frustrated with where I was at physically. I think it's really easy to start competing against each other when really I just want to compete against my past and be better than last time.
Yeah.
And if I focus on that, like that's what my focus was at 70.3 Worlds. I didn't think about the win once. I was just like, I want to absolutely maximize what I've got on the day, and it worked out great. So I'm trying to just keep that same attitude going into Hawaii.
You also seem like you like it when the best guys are there. I mean, here the best guys come into your home country, and you were able to put on a show.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing better when the best guys are there and you're in the best form, and there's nothing worse when the best guys are there and you're in rubbish form. But I certainly, when you're feeling good, there's nothing better than being next to someone who you're like, far out, this is Jan Frodeno, or this is Lionel Sanders, or whatever it is. That's a great feeling.
I love it. Tim, good luck on Saturday. Thanks so much for taking time.
Thanks, Bob. Cheers.
Poncho, man. How about a round of applause for Mr. Tim Reed?
Breakfast with Bob, oh yeah.
Legend. That was really fun.